see if I can get the glare off of my glasses. I was going to do this video without my glasses, and I took a look and I said, ooh, my eyes look sunken back in my head. Get those glasses on. Now, the first thing I'm going to tell you is this. I remember one day reading where one of my viewers told me to quit rocking when I'm telling my stories. And I don't know why I do it, but you've seen me going back and forth. And it's just a bad habit I have, and I forget to sit still. So every now and then you might have to remind me, quit rocking. Well, it's been a few days since we've talked. I just couldn't seem to come up with anything to talk about. So, woke up this morning. Actually, it was almost noon before I got up because I went to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I figured I deserved to sleep late. So I got up and did my usual routine. And one of those days of rain, dark outside. It was as dark as if it was 5 o'clock in the morning. I knew it wasn't going to be a good day. You know how those days are. You just don't want to have to deal with the gloom and the rain. And if you had any plans for going somewhere, you changed your mind and said, not worth it. In fact, I didn't even change my house coat today. I'm ready for bed. Been ready since this morning when I got up. So I thought, well, I need to talk to my viewers. They need to know I'm still around, still kicking. I was sitting here counting my quarters. See, I used the laundry in our basement. We have a really nice laundry in the basement. You can put quarters in the washers and the dryers. And I have to collect my quarters, so I'll have enough for a couple loads of laundry. So I was sitting there counting my quarters and make sure I had enough. Ordinarily, when I save my quarters, it takes me a while to get enough to go do the laundry because they don't give you change when you use a credit card. So I have trouble finding enough quarters. Well, I almost had enough, but I had 2 extra quarters. Took a look at them. I thought, well, these quarters are awful big. Yeah, one of them Kennedy quarters. Look at this. See? Well, that's not a quarter. That's a $50. Well, I better put those aside because knowing me, I'll hand it to a clerk thinking it's a quarter, and she'll take it for a quarter instead of a $50. Well, anyway, going to be another day or two before I get enough quarters to do my laundry, but I can manage that. One of those dark, dreary days that pulls you right down in the slumps. You know what I'm talking about. And I thought, I need to do a story for my viewers or they're going to quit watching me. Well, quit watching somebody's not talking. I can understand that. So sitting here watching Facebook, and this lady comedian comes on, and she's really good, really good. But her routine was just what you expect a lady's routine to be. She tells a story about going to her gynecologist. Every woman has a story about going to her gynecologist. But I'll tell you this, I haven't been to a gynecologist in 40 years. Yeah, 40 years. I switched over to family practice doctor. He looks at my eyes and looks in my ears. I don't know what he expects to find in my ears. And he tells me to breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. And then he checks my wrist, the usual routine, and says, stick your tongue out and say, ah, ah. Okay, that takes care of my annual exam. I don't have to get up in the stirrups. You know what I'm talking about when I say the stirrups. This lady told a funny story about going to the doctor and being in the stirrup. I'm going to tell you my stories. Oh, let's see, but almost 10 years into my marriage, we moved from Louisville to Lexington, which meant I had to find a pediatrician for my children. My husband had to get a doctor for himself, and I had to find a new gynecologist. Well, when you think about it, ladies, you think and go back in time, and I remember, seemed the only time you ever saw a doctor, he had white hair, wore wire-rimmed glasses, and had pot belly. That meant he was old. They didn't have those young blonde-headed, blue-eyed doctors, slim and trim, that ran 3 miles a day. They just had old doctors. That's what I was used to. Well, here I was. I've got to find a new gynecologist. Now I'm like, how old was I? 28 years old. Still pretty young, Where was I going to find a gynecologist? I just hated having to go through that. Someone gave recommendation, and okay, I made an appointment. I go in, and the usual thing, you got to undress, you put on that little old tacky cotton robe that won't wrap halfway around you, and they put you up on that table, and the nurse says, stick your feet in the stirrups. Well, you got to take your shoes off, put your feet in the stirrups. Here we go with that routine that every woman hates. Just hates it with a purple passion. But you might as well get used to it, especially with a new doctor. Now, I had no idea what my new doctor was going to look like. So there I laid on that table with my feet up in the stirrups. You know what I'm saying. It's not a comfortable position. It's kind of embarrassing, tell the truth. So I wait, and I twiddle my thumbs. And the door opens, and in walks my new gynecologist. Ladies, I don't think he's graduated from high school yet. I can't let this young man examine me there. He's still a teenager. He's not old enough to be a doctor. Oh, goodness. That's embarrassing, really embarrassing, when you're older than your new doctor is. I took 2 or 3 deep breaths. He was nice and friendly. Knew that I was new in town, trying to make a good acquaintance there, make me feel comfortable. There ain't nothing that makes you feel comfortable when you got both your feet up in the stirrups. And they're going to stay there till the doctor says, you can sit up now. Well, I got that taken care of. And now, when I go to my doctor, he's my family doctor. He examines my ears, my eyes, says, and does this, and does this, and says, now you can go get the lab work done. And we have a little chit-chat conversation. And I look at him, since I've been going to him now for 24 years, he's changed from dark hair to, his hair's the same color mine. Oh my gosh. He's getting old enough to retire. What am I going to do? I have to break in a new doctor. I'm not breaking in another teenage doctor. No way. I've gotten used to this one. I looked at him and I said, are you thinking about retiring anytime soon? And he just grinned real big and he said, don't think so. I got 3 kids in college. Well, that answered that question. Yeah, he's going to be around a few more years. He's going to be able to take care of me because I'm not ready to make changes in doctors. So I talked to one of my friends on the phone this evening. He's having a little computer problems. I'm having computer problems, and he's always got the answers for me. So we had about a 15-minute conversation, and I told him, I said, I'm running out of material. I don't know what to talk to my viewers about. I've run out of stories, and I'm not going in the kitchen to cook. I just got through eating chicken noodle soup. I don't even like chicken noodle soup, but I take my leftover chicken when I've been taking it apart. I have the leg and the thigh first, and then I start cutting the meat off of the breast and all, and separating everything so I can get 3 or 4 meals out of one roasted chicken. I take care of that. I made a cheese ball. It was an old recipe, and I could remember. Just loved that cheese ball. And anytime there was a social affair, or you had to take a treat of some sort, I used to make that cheese ball. But this time it didn't seem to taste as good. And I had a big one. It was big. What was I going to do with all of that cheese? And of course I covered it with pecans. Cheese balls are always better when they've got nuts on them. But I didn't want to throw it away. Well, I had not made macaroni and cheese in 10 years. I thought I still knew how to make it because I've got the easiest recipe there is. It shouldn't be too hard to do a macaroni and cheese for a change. Might taste pretty good with a slice of ham. And maybe some, well, I had plenty of greens for salad. So, yeah, I'd make the macaroni and cheese, and when I start putting together, I just raked the pecans off of that cheese ball, and I just dipped into that spoon by spoon, kept adding cheese, more cheese, into my little dish of macaroni. I figured, oh, so what if it doesn't taste good? I wasn't going to eat that cheese anyway. It would have just gone to waste. So I'll take a chance on it. Well, I added that cheese to my macaroni and did a little milk and butter and whatever you add to it. And sure enough, I had a pretty good macaroni and cheese dish there. So that'll give me something to eat with my salad for the next at least 3 days. 3 days is my limit. I'll eat it 3 days, and after that, if nobody wants it, it goes down and disposed of. So I'm going to be having macaroni and cheese. I finished up my strawberry salad that I had on my tablescape. It was really good. And it had pineapple, it had bananas, it had strawberries in it. You know the typical strawberry jello salad that your mother used to make. And it was pretty good. And I happened to buy a small package of, I guess you'd say they were glazed walnuts and cranberries. The cranberries were soft. I'll just sprinkle a few on top of my jello salad. And you know what? It makes a really good dish. Very tasty, and it's pretty. So keep that in mind when you're getting ready to do your Thanksgiving dinner. I know most people want cranberry sauce. I'm not crazy about cranberry sauce. I'll take anything with strawberries, but not cranberries. So give it a thought if you're having a big group and you need an extra dish. Give them that dish of strawberry jello, crushed pineapple, sliced strawberries, and bananas. Mix that all together and then get you a package of the walnuts and cranberries and sprinkle them on top of that salad, and you'll get compliments. I guarantee it. Simple as simple can get. So, I'm still trying to come up with something interesting. Watching the cooking channel. Oh, that's not a good idea. You start watching that cooking channel and you're thinking, oh, I want to make that, I want to make this, I want to make that. They were having contests. I don't know how those young people come up with those fantastic cakes and desserts and cookies and cupcakes. They had everything as beautiful and colorful, and you wanted to test everything that they were making. Now, I don't watch the cooking channel much anymore because it's too tempting when you see something that looks delicious, and if you happen to have the ingredients in the kitchen. I keep a bottle of whipping cream all the time. Always that. I keep a quart of half and half, because you've always got to have the milk and the whipping cream. And the other thing is chicken broth. Anything that adds salt and pepper to it, you also add chicken broth. So I keep that in the refrigerator too. My greens are always whatever kind of leaf lettuce that you like. I have my carrots, my green and red pepper, my celery, and my red onion. Those things always go in my salads. Sometimes I add nuts and croutons. Now, I found a jar. I was looking through the spices, and I found a jar. It's about this big jar. And actually, what it was was crushed croutons, flavored croutons. You know how it is when you put a crouton in your mouth, and sometimes they're hard. They're hard to chew, break up. And I'm always afraid I'm going to break off a tooth or something. But this was in the big jar like your spices, and it'd been crushed up, and it's perfect to sprinkle on top of your salad. Very tasty. You get the flavor. And so that's what I put on my salad for supper, along with my chicken noodle soup. I don't know when I'm going to learn that I can find something else to use that extra chicken and chicken broth for besides chicken noodle soup. Now I know you've enjoyed me telling you this story, and I thought it was going to last a little longer than this. I've got my Dr. Pepper here, right here handy. I'm watching them doing, oh my gosh, they must be doing a Thanksgiving dinner on the cooking channel now, and it'd make me hungry enough to go to the kitchen, see if I can't find some of that stuff. One drink of Dr. Pepper. Ah, that's good. I hope we have a pretty day tomorrow. I'm in the mood to go shopping for, I'd like to find something Christmassy. Now, when it comes to something Christmassy, I've got a storage closet in the basement stacked to the ceiling with Christmas stuff. I've got buyers, carolers, at least 35 of them. I'm in a 3-room apartment. Where are you going to sit 35 buyers, carolers? Okay, I've got a big box of houses. I've collected houses for 40 years now. Houses with all the little characters, the little fences, the benches, the ladders, the little trees, the sled, the children, the lights. I've got the little post lights, you know, that are on batteries. Takes a while to put all that stuff together, but when I get through, I've got quite a village of those. And with my buyers carolers, I've got the houses. The houses are big. They're this big. And you use those in the background. And a lot of snow. I use mirrors to for the skaters. I have about 4 or 5 skaters, and I like for them to have a little pond, so I use mirrors. And I have been known to take, you know, those little crinkly little icicles that you hang on your Christmas tree. They're ornaments. They're about, 5 or 6 inches long. They look like the kind of icicles that hung on the roof line of your house. I put those in the oven on aluminum foil, and I melt them a little bit, and I shape them. I put them around something so that they fall into a shape. And what I do with them is I create a waterfall. And you can see those icicles hanging over a little cliff into a mirrored pond and look like real ice. Sure enough, they look like real ice. Well, you put your battery little tiny, teeny tiny lights behind that, it looks real. It looks real. There's so many things you can do in decorating, and I haven't got to do that in the last 3 or 4 years. And I really, really miss creating Christmas scenes. A couple years ago, I bought a new nativity scene. It's about, 18 inches wide and 15 inches tall. And it just has a few of the characters. But when Jan and I got into the barn and pulled out my collection of Christmas decorations, we came out with boxes of miniature animals and people and anything that you would use in creating a Christmas scene. So I've got the sheep and the cows and the donkeys, the cats and the dogs, whatever you need. I can create the whole neighborhood scene. It's so much fun when you get into something like that. But I have to stop collecting. I don't have storage space for my collections. So I have to work with what I already have. And it was really pretty exciting to come across things I had forgotten about. I have to tell you about the time when you started buying the artificial trees. Oh, that was pretty good because you could buy one nice artificial tree and you didn't have to buy a new tree every year and have to gather up all of the mess, clean up from the live trees. You just got out your regular plastic. Now those limbs, sure enough, were plastic. They looked real. The first year I had mine, it was on the floor. I was living in Corbin. And it looked like a real tree sitting in the corner by the window. Now the only lights I had were those big bulbs about this big, you know the kind of bulbs like you put in chandeliers, about that big. I put those lights on all over my tree, turned them on, and a little bit later got to looking. They had heated up and were melting my tree limbs. All those little sprigs of greenery were starting to stick together. I almost ruined my new Christmas tree. Now, it wouldn't have caught fire because all it did was melt. Melted those plastic limbs. Keep that in mind if you're finding an old artificial Christmas tree made of plastic. Don't use the old light. Use those tiny miniature lights. They have been such a wonder, and they make some of the prettiest decorations you could have at Christmas time. Christmas decorations are so much fun if you've got someone helping you, working with you. It makes Christmas for you. When I was about 10 years old, my sister was 12. Daddy would go out and we depended on him to go out into the woods somewhere. Back then, you just go on somebody's farm and anywhere on the side of the road you saw a tree that make a good Christmas tree. You took your saw with you, you cut it down, and you brought it home, and you put it on a wooden stand. You had your Christmas tree. You didn't have to buy one. We couldn't afford one. That was the main reason you didn't buy one, is because the people didn't have the money to spend on live Christmas trees. But I think one of the most memorable things for me as a child at Christmas time, the main thing was the older sisters, 5 of them, would be coming home for Christmas. They were living different places, Tennessee and other parts of the state, and they would all come home for Christmas. That was the big thing, and they always had Christmas present for my sister Wanda, my brother Don, and me. We were still kids, and we couldn't wait for them to come walking through the door with these great big packages. Oh gosh, it was so exciting, wondering and guessing what can possibly be in that box. Of course, the box may not even be marked, so we didn't know who it was for. Could it be my gift? Was it my sister's? Or maybe it was something for Mama, because they had their arms full of gifts. That was so much fun. But my sister was one of those persnickety girls that she'd try anything. We had to know what was in those packages. We couldn't stand waiting till Christmas morning. So my mother would go shopping with my sisters, and she'd leave us kids at the house. Wanda'd say, let's open those boxes. They were always wrapped in white tissue paper, because we didn't have the fancy Christmas wrapping paper in those days. And you didn't have Scotch tape. You didn't have curly ribbon. You had, we had seals. You'd get a little package of seals, and had little pictures on them. And that's what you used on the end of your boxes where you wrapped the paper around. You'd put seals, and that held your paper on the box. Okay. This box looks so interesting. We've got to find out what's in it. Shake it. It shakes. What can it possibly be? Well, we go to the back bedroom in case somebody happened to come in the front door. We don't want them to catch us opening Christmas presents. We were so careful. We would pull that seal away from the end of that paper that'd been folded up on the side, and we would pull that seal away. We'd managed to get it off. And what you did, you only opened one end of the box, and you slid the box out of the paper wrapping. You opened it up, and you saw what was inside. That's for me. I can tell it's for me. Slide it back into the wrapping very carefully. You don't want it to look like it's been handled. You rewrap the end of that paper, fold it, fold it, fold it. We had extra seals. We had seals just like the ones that were on the box. So we would get a new seal, because you had to lick it. Had to lick it and put it over the end. Nobody would ever know that we had looked at the Christmas present. One by one, we opened every package under the tree. Now you consider how many there were of us, with Mama and Daddy too, getting gifts from all of the sisters. That was a lot of Christmas presents under the tree. And we two girls knew every gift in every package. Now, I'm sure today that we talked to those sisters and to my mother, we thought we were getting by with sneaking into those packages and nobody would know or even suspect anything. But Mama could tell. She could tell somebody had been playing with Christmas packages. She never said anything. But she knew we two girls were sneaky. And the outcome of that was, when it came to opening your gift, you already knew what it was. And it took away the joy and the surprise when you opened that box, because you already knew what was in the box. That's the only lesson we learned from that, was leave it alone. Don't open it because you ruin your surprise on Christmas morning. That's just one of the things that we did. But Christmas was a very special time. Those days are gone now. There are 3 of us girls left, 3 out of 7. Mom and Daddy are gone. Got nieces and nephews that are gone. The numbers are thinning out. In a way, it's sad, but there are a lot of good memories there, a lot of stories. And for some reason, they think I'm the one that remembers most of them. I don't think I am. I think I'm the one that concentrates on telling the stories. And if they were in my position, they would remember all these things too. But they're always saying, Pat, how do you remember that? Well, I don't know how you remember that. You just do. And part of it because you want to remember it. So by being on YouTube, this is something to keep in mind. They say that the stories I'm telling today will always be there. And anytime you want to hear one of my stories, you can go to my YouTube channel, whether I'm here or not. So I know my years are limited, but it's such a good feeling to know I'm leaving something behind. You're seeing me age year by year by year. You're seeing my hair getting whiter. You've seen photographs of me with dark hair. I had dark hair like my mother. Mama's hair was black. Mine had red highlights in it. But I can look in the mirror today and I see my mother looking back at me. I saw it in one of my sisters. She was 87 when she died. Very sick. She had ovarian cancer. And when I looked at her face, I saw my mother. So there may be one or two more that will take on my mother's looks. But I know I am. I can see it. So anytime I look in the mirror, I can see my mother. So much for that. I'm going to have to take another drink of my Dr. Pepper. And I'm going to go back. I'm going to watch The Comedian again. That's the nice thing about Facebook. If you didn't get it all the first time, go back and watch it again. She's funny. Wish I could tell you her name, couldn't even pronounce it. But she's one of those ladies that talks about menopause and talks about gynecologist. Every woman has a story about her gynecologist. So like I said, I haven't been to a gynecologist in 40 years. Whoa. Thank goodness for that. So, and I've got a good doctor. I like him. Jan and I go to the same doctor. And what was funny, she just went a week or two ago. I don't know for what reason. But she said when he turned to her to say something, he called her Pat. And I didn't realize that he would even make that much of a connection between Jan and me. But she said he looked at me and called me Pat. And then he grinned. So he had made that mistake, mother and daughter. That's all I'm going to tell you now. I want to keep you coming back. I know I need to get in the kitchen. I need to. I've already given you my corn pudding recipe. If you look back, go back and look at my old videos. I've got some on there that even I don't remember doing. And I don't remember what I said. So I have to watch it too. Sometimes I'm surprised. Sometimes I think, oh, I should never have done that one. And now and then, I can laugh at myself. It's a wonderful feeling when you can laugh at yourself. You know, if you can laugh at yourself, others will think you're funny too. So I hope you get a little something out of my trip to the gynecologist when I was 28 years old. That young boy right out of high school. You know what that feels like? When your doctor's younger than you are. They're all younger than I am now, but I can handle it a little better. Let me know what you think. I don't have many Christmas stories to give you, or Thanksgiving stories. I've already told the ones from the past. Anything I tell you today will be a current situation. And I'm hoping there will be some good thing come of this. And you will enjoy the stories I tell. I depend on you. And I look forward to hearing from you. So, Monday, tomorrow, the beginning of a new week, and I'm going to go shopping. Yeah, I won't be getting any change for my laundry. I'm going to have to go to the bank and get me a roll of quarters so that I can have some clean clothes. But I've always got my credit card with me in case I want to buy something special. And I did buy something special a few days ago. I'm going to use it for a tablescape. You've seen my tablescape with the peacock. This is going to be bigger and better. So you count on watching for that next tablescape that I will do. I'm hoping it will be outstanding. What's in my head and what takes place with my hand may be two different things. But I'll be counting on you to stick with me and watch my next tablescape too. So you have a good night. You have a good day tomorrow. And I'm hoping for sunshine because the winter weather's coming on. And I'm going to have to get those old ankle-high boots out, fur-lined ankle-high boots. Get out there and try to weather what they say, weather the storm. Yes, that's what we'll be doing soon. And you know, I've been seeing some of the prettiest houses. I don't know why. On Facebook, they've been showing so many houses, and on YouTube, these cottages and cabins that are being built, and the pictures they show of the 100-year-old cabins are so gorgeous. I want one. Is there a billionaire out there that would like to buy me one of those little cabins? Oh, I sure would have fun decorating it, especially for Christmas, and especially when the snow's on the ground. Yeah, I'll accept a gift like that, and I would be very happy with it, and I would invite you in to share my joy. I invite you to share my stories now. So let me know what you think. You have a good night.